I need to tell you something before it's too late, before someone else makes the same mistake I did. 6 months ago, I bought my dream house in Indianapolis for $80,000. Everyone said I got the deal of a lifetime. They were right, but not in the way they thought. My name is Sarah Chen, and this is the story of what I found inside 4447 Oakmont Drive. More importantly, this is the story of what found me. If you're looking at houses in Maple Ridge, Indiana right now, stop. Just stop. Some deals are too good to be true for a reason. The divorce was finally over. After 2 years of lawyers and arguments and splitting up everything we'd built together, I was free. But I was also broke, exhausted, and desperate for a fresh start. That's when my realtor, Janet, called me about the house. "Sarah, I found something you need to see," she said. Her voice had this weird edge to it, excited but also nervous. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, finished basement, Maple Ridge neighborhood, great schools nearby. I rolled my eyes. "Janet, I can't afford Maple Ridge. Those houses go for $200,000 minimum. This one's listed at $80,000. I actually laughed. "What's wrong with it? Is it on a toxic waste dump? Did someone die there?" She hesitated, just for a second, but I caught it. "The sellers are very motivated," she said carefully. "It needs some cosmetic work, new paint, maybe some updated fixtures, but structurally, it's solid." I should have pushed harder, should have asked more questions, but I was tired and hopeful, and I wanted to believe that something could finally go right for me. We toured it the next day. The house was beautiful. Hardwood floors, big windows, a backyard with actual trees. It felt like a home, a real home, not like the sterile apartment I'd been crashing in since the separation. "Why is it so cheap?" I asked, standing in the master bedroom. Janet looked out the window. "The previous owners had to relocate quickly, out of state. They just wanted off their hands." That should have been my second red flag, but I was already imagining my furniture in the living room, my art on the walls, a vegetable garden in that backyard. I made an offer that afternoon, $75,000, cash sale. They accepted within an hour. I got the keys 3 weeks later. My older brother Marcus helped me move in. He's an electrician, super practical, doesn't believe in anything he can't fix with a screwdriver. As we carried boxes inside, he kept shaking his head. "I still can't believe you got this place for $75,000. Houses on this street are worth at least $250. I know, right? Best decision I ever made." Famous last words. Everything was fine until Marcus went down to the basement to check the electrical panel. I was upstairs unpacking kitchen stuff when I heard him yell, "Sarah, get down here." I found him standing in the corner of the basement, moving an old workbench away from the wall. Behind it was something I hadn't noticed during the inspection. A small door, maybe 3 feet tall, the kind you'd use to access crawl space or plumbing. Except this door had been sealed shut with concrete blocks and mortar. Somebody had built a literal wall over it, then shoved the workbench in front to hide it. "What the hell is that?" I whispered. Marcus knocked on the blocks. They were solid, professional work. Somebody really didn't want anyone going through that door. We stared at it for a long moment. "Maybe it's just old foundation repair?" I offered weakly. "Foundation repair doesn't need a door." He pulled out his phone and took a picture. "This is weird, Sarah, like deliberately weird." We headed back upstairs, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. That sealed door, the way the concrete looked almost frantic, like someone had been in a hurry. That night, I heard the scratching for the first time. It started at 2:17 a.m. I know that because I checked my phone when it woke me up. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Rhythmic, persistent, coming from below. I lay there in the dark, trying to convince myself it was just pipes, or the house settling, or a mouse in the walls. Just normal house sounds. But it didn't sound normal. It sounded deliberate, like nails on concrete, slow and steady and patient. I turned on every light in the house and didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next evening, I was doing laundry in the basement when I noticed something on the window, the small ground-level window that looks out into the window well. Handprints, small handprints on the inside of the glass, child-sized. I live alone. I don't have kids. My hands were shaking as I grabbed paper towels and cleaning spray. As I wiped them away, I noticed how dirty they were, not like a kid who'd been playing outside, like someone who'd been crawling through dirt for a long time. That's when my Wi-Fi router started acting up. It kept disconnecting over and over. I reset it 3 times before I checked the admin settings. Someone had renamed my network. It was now Let Me Out. I unplugged the router and didn't plug it back in for 2 days. I needed answers, so I went next door to talk to Mrs. Donahue. She was in her 70s, had lived on Oakmont Drive since the neighborhood was built in the 90s. If anyone knew the history of my house, it would be her. She invited me in for coffee, all smiles and small talk, until I mentioned the Hendersons. The Hendersons, I said. Did you know them well? Her smile disappeared. Why are you asking about them? Her voice had gone cold. Mrs. Donahue, please, something's not right with the house. I need to know what happened. She stood up for a long moment. Then she sighed and sat back down. The Hendersons were good people, she said quietly. Tom and Lisa. They had a son, Tyler. He was about 10 when they moved in. She paused, looking out her window towards my house. Tyler was off. I don't mean that cruelly, but there was something wrong with that boy. He'd stand in the backyard at night, just staring at nothing, talking to himself, sometimes screaming. His parents took him to doctors, therapists. Nothing helped. What happened to him? Mrs. Donahue's hands were shaking. One day, he disappeared, just vanished. The parents said he ran away. There was a search, but they never found him. And then, about a month later, the Hendersons packed up in the middle of the night and left. Didn't even take most of their furniture. Did the police think? The police didn't think anything. There was no evidence of foul play. Tyler was a troubled kid who ran away. That was the official story. But I was here. I heard things. In the weeks before they left, I'd hear drilling, hammering in the middle of the night, coming from their basement. My blood went cold. What do you think happened? I whispered. She stood up again. I think you should sell that house, Sarah. I think you should sell it and never look back. I couldn't sleep that night. I sat at my laptop, searching every combination of terms I could think of. Henderson family, Indianapolis, missing child. Tyler Henderson, runaway, 1998. 4447 Oakmont Drive. Nothing, just a few old forum posts about the neighborhood. And then, buried on page 7 of Google results, I found it. A single post from 2009 on a paranormal forum. Username, TruthSeeker47. Message, don't open the door in the basement of 4447 Oakmont Drive. My family learned the hard way. That was it. No follow-up posts. The account had been deleted. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I went down to the basement and stood in front of that sealed door. Marcus would tell me I was crazy, that I was letting stress and paranoia get to me, that I should leave it alone. But I had to know. I got the sledgehammer from the garage. It took me 20 minutes to break through the concrete blocks. Each swing echoed through the basement like a gunshot. When the last block fell away, I shined my flashlight into the opening. It wasn't a room, just a crawl space, maybe 4 feet deep. But the walls, oh God, the walls, they were covered in drawings, hundreds of them, done in what looked like dried blood. Stick figures, a child and something else, something tall with too many arms, the same image over and over and over. At the back of the crawl space was a sleeping bag, moldy comic books, a single child sneaker, and scratched into the concrete in frantic, uneven letters, I didn't run away. I'm still here. "Don't let it out." My hands were shaking so badly I dropped the flashlight. That's when the scratching started again. But this time, it wasn't coming from the crawl space. It was coming from inside the walls, all around me, above me, below me, everywhere. I ran for the stairs. Every door in the house slammed shut at once. The lights went out, and in the darkness, I heard a voice, a child's voice, young and rasping and completely wrong. "You opened it. You let me out. Now I can finish what I started." I saw him at the end of the hallway, a boy, maybe 10 years old, standing perfectly still with his head tilted at an impossible angle. His eyes were black holes.
I screamed and ran for the front door. It wouldn't open. I grabbed a lamp and smashed the living room window, crawling through onto the lawn just as Marcus pulled up in his truck. Marcus found nothing. No drawings, no messages. The crawl space was empty except for dust and spider webs. He thought I was having a breakdown. Stress from the divorce, paranoia from living alone. He made me stay at his place that night. But when we drove past my house the next morning, I saw Mrs. Donahue in her window. She was holding a framed photograph. Later, she knocked on Marcus's door. She handed me the photo without saying a word. It showed a young boy standing in front of 4447 Oakmont Drive. The date stamp said August 1998. Tyler Henderson. He was smiling, but in the window behind him, barely visible in the reflection, was a shape, tall with too many arms. I listed the house the next week, priced it at $70,000. It sold in 3 days. The new owners are a young family. They have a daughter, maybe 7 or 8 years old. I drove past there yesterday. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I'm just a glutton for punishment. The little girl was playing in the backyard. When she saw me, she waved, and then she pressed her finger to her lips. Shh, like we were sharing a secret. I haven't been back since, and I never will. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear scratching in my new apartment, faint and far away, like something followed me, like something still looking for a way out. If you ever see a house that's too cheap, too perfect, too good to be true, just walk away. Some doors should stay sealed, some things should stay buried, and some deals will cost you more than money. They'll cost you everything.